This, everyone, is a king's table, which is great. I love doing it this way. So the bride and groom sit here, and there's room for the massive wedding party and their plus ones. You can decorate it really well, and it looks amazing.
Decorations for dummies? Save this for when you're decorating your wedding tables. We talked about color and texture, now we're talking about levels. What makes for that luscious decor is when you're thinking about low, medium, and high levels. Your low levels is going to be the table linen, the plates, what's actually sitting on the table. Medium levels, you have your vases, your glassware, sometimes shorter candles. At the highest level, you have your flowers, tapers, and anything at or above eye level. Now, there's nothing terrible about this table, but you don't need to look at it for more than 1 second to realize what it is. Then you look at a table like this that has these blends of layers, and it really sucks you in. That's what aesthetics is, right? When your eye is captivated and bouncing around to all the different things to look at. It doesn't have to be that extreme or expensive of an example either. Here, for example, we could have just stopped at the candles, but we didn't. We added an extra layer at the base and added that sign for the middle level, and it makes it more beautiful to look at. Adding dimension really elevates the look, and when you're thinking about levels, you can also think with color too. At the low levels, we have this neutral. At the high levels, we have the green. So when you're thinking about your decor, think, how do I want to decorate my lowest level? What's right at eye level or higher? What are those middle filler pieces that make it feel connected? I feel like I need to expand a lot, but this is a good place to start, right? What are your specific questions? As always, happy planning.
If you are doing a DIY wedding, this one's for you. Here's the fastest and most efficient way to decorate your reception space if you're doing it yourself. And I'm Lindsay at Ladybird. Okay, preparation is key. This is something that you can tackle weeks before your actual wedding. When you're starting to box up your decorations, instead of boxing all of your linens in one box, then all of your cedar slices in one box, then all of your table numbers in one box, do it this way. Box by the table. For example, I'm gonna get a box, I'm gonna put on top of that box, table number 1. Inside that box, I'm gonna have my linen, I'm gonna have my cedar slice, I'm gonna have my faux greenery, I'm gonna have my lantern, and I'm gonna have my 3 battery operated votives. I'm gonna do the same exact thing for table 2, 3, 4, all the way up until table 20, if that's how many you need. I'm also gonna do the same for my extra tables. Extra tables meaning your cake table, your memory table, your guest booking gift table. Box by the table. You're also going to include a picture in each box of how that table is supposed to look. Once you've tackled that weeks before your wedding, now you're going to hire a decorating manager, aka mom, aka dad, aka maid of honor. Then you're going to come up with an army of people that are going to help you do the decorating process. You're going to list their names on a little paper. You're going to type this out. Beside their name, you're going to put what table they're in charge of. Lindsay, I want you in charge of table 1 and 2. Nothing more, nothing less. Tommy, you're going to be in charge of table 3 and 4. Nothing more, nothing less. Momo, I want you in charge of my memory table. Nothing more, nothing less. If any of these people have questions, do not come to me. I'm the bride. Go to my decorating manager. Your army will show up with a specific job and a flawless experience for you. I'm going to give you Ladybird's wedding day timeline. This is the most asked question I get on TikTok. Lindsay, will you create my wedding day timeline? Yes, I will, and I'm gonna give it to you right now. Let me start with, you do not have to do your wedding day timeline just like this. You can make changes. It is not set in stone. This is what works best for me and my clients. Are you ready? Be sure to save this video because I'm gonna be talking fast. Side note, this is gonna be for a 5 o'clock ceremony start time. 4:30, bridesmaids and bride, dry your flower bouquet stems so your flowers are not dripping with water as you walk down the aisle. 4:30, groomsmen, make sure your boutonnieres are pinned at this time. 4:30, your prelude will begin as guests are arriving. 4:55, wedding party, line up. 5 o'clock, processional begins. 5:30, cocktail hour as well as bridal party pictures. 6:30, cocktail hour concludes as well as bridal party pictures. 6:40, wedding party introductions. Immediately following, first dance, father-daughter dance, mother-son dance. immediately followed by a welcome toast, typically given by the parents of the bride, immediately followed by prayer for dinner, putting dinner at roughly 7 p.m. Bridal party toast, typically given by the maid of honor and best man, will begin at 7:45. Immediately following by your cake cutting at 7:55. Immediately followed by your dance party starting at approximately 8 p.m. Garden and bouquet at 9 p.m. Last call for alcohol at 9:30. Last dance with guest at 9:50. Private dance at 9:55 while we prepare your guest outside for your send-off. Send-off at 10 p.m. and that's when the event will conclude. Remember to Google your sunset time for your city and your wedding date. Work the sunset time into your timeline. Those typically take about 15 to 20 minutes. Be sure to follow me right here for more wedding day tips and tricks.
If you're wedding planning and you do not know about these resources, let me bless your timeline. This insane person has probably spent millions of hours putting all this shit together. Free tips, inspiration, product suggestions, literally anything you need. Starting with the blogs she has, it's wild. She's covered so many aspects of the wedding planning process. Tons of worksheets too to actually print out and work on. And the biggest Pinterest board I've ever seen. Look at the category amount on this Amazon storefront. Literally every possible wedding product you might need. She's got hundreds of 1-minute videos about wedding planning. And she just started a wedding planning boot camp on YouTube, which is longer form content. I mean, this crazy person literally wrote out 251 questions to ask all your vendors and has a lot else planned. It's me, bitch. I'm trying to build the best free wedding resources there ever was. Go find my link, okay? Because I'm here to help. Aggressively, a little, I'll admit, but I'm here to help. I didn't have any help in my wedding planning process, so I've spent the entire year workshopping all of these resources, and I'm gonna keep developing it. Use this stuff!
If I could go back and give myself one wedding tip, this is the one tip that I would give myself. It would be, babe, do one fucking thing at a time. Do one thing at a fucking time. Why the fuck are you trying to do 50 million things at once? Literally get a sticky note, okay? Get a sticky note and write the one task that you have to do. And then once you finish that task, rip the sticky tape off and chuck it in the bin. Other than that, why the fuck are you trying to do a million things at once, babe? It's not going to work and you're going to fall behind. So the most important thing for you to do right now is get a bunch of sticky notes and write each task down one at a time. And then once you finish that task, you put it in the bin and give yourself a gold star. That's the tip. That's what I would give. That's the tip that I would give you.
Welcome back to a broke girl's guide to planning your own wedding. My husband and I just got married a couple months ago, so I painfully know how much time, money, and energy goes into planning a wedding these days. In this episode, we are going to be talking every single detail of our entire wedding day timeline, how we pick the time of our ceremony, whether or not to do a first look, and everything in between. We have so much to talk about, so let's just get into it. One of the biggest decisions you have to make before actually planning your timeline is deciding what time you want to get married. Some people want to get married a little earlier in the day and then have more time for evening activities. Some people don't want to start super early in the morning getting ready, so they do their ceremony a little bit later in the day. That decision really depends on your personal preference. My husband and I did 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We did not do a first look. I feel like whether or not to do a first look could be a series all in itself. We just really wanted that feeling of like coming down the aisle and seeing each other for the very first time. Just like really builds up the anticipation. I was just so like giddy and full of butterflies, and I like remember the moment so clearly. Now let's get into the minute by minute breakdown after you have decided what time your ceremony is going to be. I had 5 bridesmaids and we were all getting our makeup done. That's how we decided what time to start in the morning. I told my makeup artist we wanted to be ready by 2, and then she decided like when she needed to arrive and how long it would take. She would need to start on the first bridesmaid by 7:45. So if you're new to this series, our wedding was at an Airbnb, so I had scheduled that the girls who were not getting their hair or makeup done were going to help me start setting up the decor and tables at 8:30. My mother-in-law and dad were going to start cooking us breakfast around 9. Also, because it was an Airbnb and I did not want to see John on the wedding day, we always had the groomsmen like yell when they were coming up the stairs, and like if I was up there, everyone would be like, "Don't come up." Silly, but it was like honestly kind of such a fun game for the day, like keeping us away from each other. Okay, so around 11 o'clock then, groomsmen started helping my dad set up the chairs for the ceremony. We got married out on the dock. The girls and I were kind of finalizing hair, makeup. They were making sure that their dresses were steamed. Kind of a chill couple hours there where we were just finishing up the glam. And I had booked our photographer for 8 hours. She arrived at 1 o'clock. She got our detail shots, me and the bridesmaids and me and my dad. Then we took a little bit of a break and the photographer went down and got the guys' pictures. We went straight into the ceremony at 4. The ceremony was only about 30 minutes long. As soon as the ceremony ended, we started all big group family photos. This is the only part of the day I feel like didn't really go that smoothly. My biggest tip is to have somebody, whether it be your photographer, a bridesmaid, a friend, anyone, make a big announcement. Hey guys, we're now going to start family photos. Don't run away. Oh my gosh. You're kidding me. Now I have to go get a Q-tip. Then we went into doing like the bridesmaids and groomsmen photos with John and I. So we did probably like 20 minutes of that. And then at 5 o'clock, John and I did just our portraits for like a full 45 minutes. I wanted lots of cute photos and videos of John and I in his tux and my dress. And we had our dog there, which was so special. That was one of my favorite parts of the day. While that was happening, of course, we had like a whole cocktail hour set up inside. At 6 o'clock, John and I came in and did our first dance. And then at 6:10, we went straight into dinner. We took an entire hour for dinner. We did not want to feel rushed. The only thing we did during that entire time was maid of honor and the best man made their speech. After that hour, John and I snuck away for another little like 15-minute sunset portrait. Then at 7:30, we cut our cake and did our dances, me with my dad and John with his mom. 8 or whatever time we finished those dances, we went straight into the open dance floor. Last thing we had on there is that we did the sparkler exit at 9 because that's when our photographer was supposed to be leaving. I was really afraid that if we did the sparkler exit and everybody would start leaving thinking that it was over, and it was only like 9 o'clock at that point. So then we made like a last minute decision to do a dollar dance immediately following the sparkler exit. That way nobody would leave after. They would all have a reason to come back in and keep dancing. That was our entire wedding day timeline. If this video was helpful for you, make sure that you save it so you'll always have it when you start your wedding planning journey. If there's a particular topic or episode that you guys want to see next, make sure you drop it in the comments and I will see you in the next one. The average wedding in 2025 cost $36,000. My husband and I got married 6 months ago and we paid less than $11,000. Welcome back to A Broke Girl's Guide to Planning Your Own Wedding. If you are a 2026 or 2027 bride and you are trying to plan a classy and affordable wedding, then this is exactly how we did it. Okay, first of all, we had our wedding at an Airbnb. This is the ultimate cheat code. Airbnb is the way to go for a wedding. Specifically though, you kind of have to want to have a small wedding. I'm not really sure of any Airbnbs that would let you have over like 50-ish people. We knew we wanted to have 50. We found an Airbnb that was good with 50. And so Airbnb was like chef's kiss. I absolutely loved waking up the morning of at our wedding venue. And of course, significantly cheaper than a venue. It was also much cheaper for our friends because we let them stay there for free. We borrowed like absolutely everything and then Facebook Marketplace what we couldn't find. And let me tell you, if you are persistent with Facebook Marketplace, you will find anything you want to find. I literally found those super duper long wedding sparklers that are usually like, I don't know, $200 for like 30 of them. I found them on Facebook. I found enough for our entire wedding, like for all 50 people. And one pack was like $20, I want to say. And then there was someone else selling another pack for like 30. We did not have a DJ, a wedding coordinator, or a wedding planner. I was the wedding planner and I almost fired myself several times, but I didn't. I made it through. Being your own wedding planner is the way to go, although it's such a nightmare. Like it is truly very irritating to be your own wedding planner and your own coordinator and to have to be the one to tell your family like, hey, shut up, it's not your day. But I think that there's still so much that falls on the bride, even if you do have a wedding planner, that it's kind of like, if I'm gonna wind up doing all of that myself, I feel like I should just do the whole thing myself. We didn't have any kind of like bartender or private bar service. We just got cans of seltzer, beers, stuff like that. I was low-key sweating about that decision. I really wasn't sure if it was gonna work out. I had tried to calculate out, you know, like how many drinks per person and stuff like that, and it totally ended up working out. If you guys want more information on how we did it and everything I learned through the process of doing things affordably, then I have written an ebook. It does come with a budget planner and a task checklist and all of the things you need to plan your wedding, as well as 40 pages on every single thing that we did and every single thing that I learned on how to plan an affordable wedding, and cheat codes you can use along the way. So if you guys are interested, that is linked in my bio, and it is actually on sale right now. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them, or you can always send me a message too.
I'm a 2027 bride, and here are things that people don't tell you about wedding planning. I'm getting married in June next year, and I'm at the start of my wedding planning journey, and it's safe to say there's been a few things that I've been like, excuse me. The first thing that I feel like has shocked everyone I've spoke to about it is the fact that you have to pay to try on wedding dresses. Yes, you heard that correctly. Now, when I actually think about it, of course, it does make sense. Obviously, this takes up the shop's time. You're not guaranteed to make a sale when you've got people coming to try on wedding dresses, so I do understand it, but I just don't know why it shocked me so much. I feel like I've just not heard anyone talk about it. So here I am, telling you about it. From my experience, I've had 3 bridal appointments so far at 3 different shops. The average, I would say, is between about £25 and £45 per appointment, and the first appointments tend to be about 90 minutes. Now, I believe this is more expensive on a weekend. I've only done weekday appointments, and that is the price that it's been coming up at. So yeah, definitely something to factor into your planning process and your budget. Thing number 2 that surprised me, and this may just be my venue, and I don't mind at all because I'm so obsessed with my venue that I don't care, is the fact that like your food and your wedding breakfast is not included a lot of the time in the package that you're presented with. Now, as I say, this may just be my venue. I only looked at one venue. I fell in love with that venue. But I have been on TikTok. I have spoke to other people, and it seems that there's some packages that are like your venue, your accommodation, your wedding breakfast, and that is all encompassed in one package. Now, that is not the case for me, and that is obviously my choice, and I am still excited regardless. But yeah, I think some people think that like everything is included. No. There are so many additional costs and additional things to think about. And the last thing I want to talk about, going back to wedding dresses, is everyone tells you that you will just know when you try the dress on. Now, again, this may just be a me thing, but I'm not getting that. There's definitely a few front runners that I've seen so far that I can't stop thinking about, and maybe that is the feeling, but I don't know about you guys. We've all got our own insecurities, that's fine, but I definitely like pick everything apart, and I'm so scared of like making the wrong decision that I think it's holding me back in being like, yeah, that's the one. I just feel like the whole wedding dress trying on is quite stressful in that you obviously see a number of dresses that you want to try, and you don't get to spend that long in them because you've obviously got a time limit. Yeah, let me know if anyone else feels like that. I just felt like I wanted to come and chat weddings today. These are a few things that have been on my mind. Let me know if there's anything that's taken you guys by surprise if you're planning a wedding, because as fun as it is and as much as I'm enjoying it, I am finding a few things catching me off guard along this journey.